Hey, how's it going today? So, I want to make this quick video and talk about how to get a job. Over a month ago, I decided to test myself and see if I could get a job. The reason being is because the business I want to create is around helping teenagers and young adults get a job and be successful with it. And so I decided, part of that needs to be me proving out if I can do that. And if being employed helps me to prepare content and training to help other people, then that'll be great. So I went about getting a job to see how it would go. I updated my resume, made sure it's all good to go, and I got dressed up in a suit and went to apply for jobs. In the process, I learned several different things. I learned one big powerful lesson that I was not totally conscious of. And that lesson is that you have to hand your resume to the manager. You cannot hand your resume to an employee, to someone who is not going to be able to hire you. You can't do that. And the reason being is I found that every time I did, the manager never actually got or saw my resume. And the reason being, I even found out in the first place, is I followed one big crucial step in applying for jobs, is I followed up with everywhere I applied. Everywhere, well, that's not totally true. Not everywhere I applied. Everywhere I applied where I was willing to go to work, where I was willing to work at, and where I was seriously considering as a viable option for a job for me. So I followed up with these employers. Every single one of them where I applied and gave my resume to an employee because the manager wasn't around didn't have my resume. They had never seen it. And they asked me if I could have another one and if they could see my resume. Because I came in and they were impressed with the way I was dressed, the way I presented myself, and I was being professional with them, yet they had never seen my resume. And so I just want to remind the job hunters out there that if you want to get a job, you got to talk to the people who can give you the job. And that starts from day one. It's good to have a positive experience with those who work in a business where you like to work. If you go into a store or a restaurant or anywhere you like to work, you want to be interacting positively with those staff members. But at the same time, you want to make sure you only give your resume to the manager. It's going to save a lot of trees and it's going to save you a lot of time, because ultimately the manager's not going to get it if you don't give it to them directly. Now sometimes this might not always be true, because sometimes the employees are awesome and they give it right to the manager and they say, hey, that guy or that girl I just saw, they're awesome and I think we should probably look into giving them a job or give them a chance at this interview. But more often than not, those employees have other things on their mind. They have things they're doing at work. They have customers they're working with. They have tasks that they've been given. They've got things they should be doing. Or they're just too lazy to even remember. It's just not a concern of theirs. So make sure that you give your resume to a manager, to someone who can hire you. When you go to get a job, give your resume to someone who can hire you. And then, if you don't get a resume on the spot, by pretty much showing them you're worth the time and you're worth the interview right away, then come back and follow up. And make sure you set time and say, hey, I'm looking for an interview. And if they don't get an interview with you that day, they say, no, I don't have time to interview you today, then come back again. Then call and follow up. And if you want, you can even send a letter. There was a couple companies that I was interested in working for. I wrote a very formal letter to the one employer because they were literally out of town. And I figured, this is going to look really good. It's going to set me above anyone else who's searching for this job. So I wrote a formal letter and signed it and mailed it to them, requesting an interview with them and saying I've already submitted a resume to them, and I gave them an extra one in my letter. And I got a great email back that said, Evan, we're grateful that you applied. We're grateful for the positive things you said about our business and the reasoning behind why you like to work for us. But unfortunately, we're not hiring right now. But they did say that we will remember you the next time we are. And so it's all about the kind of experience you create for the employer. If you show up and you have a resume and you give it directly to the manager and you show them that you're worth the time and that you have what they're looking for, then things are going to go a lot more smoothly than if you're just casually handing out resumes. So I want everyone to be successful in getting jobs and getting the most of their employment. And one of the first steps involved in that is making sure you give your resume to a manager, to someone who can hire you. And then after that, you want to make sure you follow up and that you see the intent of that person. Are they looking to hire you? Are they considering hiring? Are they even hiring at all? So these are some things that you need to consider as you go out job hunting, and I want to share this quick video about the importance of giving your resume to a hiring manager. Thanks for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this video, found it informative and helpful, then make sure you hit the like button. And if you want to have more tips like this and you want to follow my journey through employment and what I'm up to, hit subscribe. And there'll be more information and advice and stories and things to come for you and vlogs that I'm sure you'll enjoy in the future. All right, thanks so much for tuning in today. All the best in your efforts in employment.